You know that feeling, right? But something new, really innovative, just bursts onto the scene. It's exciting.
Absolutely.
But have you ever stopped to wonder if maybe there are, hidden strings attached, like that cool new app that somehow kills your battery life?
Yeah, exactly. We all want to be clued in about progress, but sometimes the very things we celebrate can carry this unseen baggage, stuff that trips us up later.
And that's what we're digging into today, this idea of hidden costs.
Precisely. And that brings us to technical debt. Professor Joseph Ng wrote this really interesting article, Technical Debt, Rage Against the Innovation.
Okay.
And his point is it's way bigger than just like messy computer code. It affects innovation itself.
Professor Ng, he's got quite the background, doesn't he? Professor, author, speaker, data
Oh
scientist.
yeah, executive director too, involved in agentic AI, real estate, even a LinkedIn top voice. He's really looking at how our rush, especially with things like AI, can backfire if we're not careful, how it becomes this burden.
So when I hear technical debt, I picture like a programmer pulling an all-nighter, cutting corners on code to meet a deadline. Is that basically it?
Well, that's definitely part of it, sure. But Professor Ng really broadens the lens in his article.
How so?
His concern, and why this matters to everyone, not just tech folks, is the impact on the big picture, on innovation itself. Think about AI right now.
It's everywhere.
Exactly. Companies are racing, launching quick experiments, trying to get ahead. But Professor Ng warns that without a clear strategy, without oversight, he calls it governance, this rush creates a ton of future problems. That's the technical debt.
Okay, so it's not like owing money on a credit card. It's a future cost, but what kind of cost?
It's the cost of fixing those hasty decisions later. Professor In argues in Technical Debt, Rage Against the Innovation, it often looks like technological clutter. Yeah, imagine having, say, 5 different software tools doing basically the same job, but none of them talk to each other properly. That's technical sprawl. Like having 3 different types of can openers in your kitchen drawer. It's inefficient, messy.
Right. And we've seen companies stumble because of this kind of thing, haven't we?
Oh, definitely. Think about MySpace. It really struggled to keep up when Facebook came along, partly because its underlying tech just wasn't flexible,
Mm-hmm.
or Nokia being slow on the smartphone uptake. Even the Boeing 737 MAX, there were software issues tied into its problems. These aren't just small glitches. Neglecting the tech foundation can have massive consequences.
And Adobe Flash. I remember that.
Exactly. DigitalOcean brings that up. It just got riddled with security issues over time, became a liability, and eventually had to go. That's accumulated technical debt biting back.
Okay, so let's pin it down. What is technical debt really at its core?
So DigitalOcean puts it nicely. It's choosing a quick, maybe easier, but less than ideal solution now, knowing or maybe just hoping you'll fix it later. But that fix costs more time and effort down the road.
Ah, the duct tape analogy. Like fixing a leaky pipe with duct tape.
Exactly like that. It stops the drip for a bit, sure, but you know you need a proper plumber, a real fix. And if you ignore it, you could end up with serious water damage. Much bigger problem.
So it's often a conscious choice then, not just accidental sloppiness.
Often, yes. The article We Need to Talk About Technical Debt makes that point. Sometimes it's a deliberate trade-off. You need speed now, so you accept you'll have to pay later with extra work.
So taking shortcuts isn't always bad. Could it be strategic?
That's a really key distinction. And yeah, sometimes it is. We Need to Talk About Technical Debt uses a good example. Imagine you're trying to land a huge client, but they need a specific look for the software you offer.
Okay.
Your current system can't do it easily. So you quickly hack together a temporary solution to get the deal signed. That could be good debt.
Because you got the big client.
Right. You made a calculated risk for a potentially large reward, and you have a plan to go back and integrate that feature properly later. It's like a mortgage on a house.
Right. Debt for a valuable asset, paid back over time. Makes sense. So what makes it bad debt in the tech world?
Bad debt is more like taking out a high-interest payday loan for a weekend in Vegas, as that article puts it. No real long-term value, just high cost.
Ouch.
In tech, that's like consistently ignoring coding standards just to push features out faster and faster, or letting those temporary duct tape fixes become permanent fixtures.
Because no one ever goes back.
Exactly. And Professor Ng in Technical Debt, Rage Against the Innovation, really flags this in the AI space. He sees a lot of bad debt building up from companies just grabbing the latest AI tool without a clear plan for how it fits or what value it really adds. That's the ungoverned experimentation he's worried about.
That phrase, rage against innovation, it's provocative. Professor Ng isn't saying innovation itself is bad, is he? It sounds more like he's raging against the chaos.
That's it, exactly. He's not anti-innovation, he's anti-fragmentation. As he talks about in Mastering IT Innovation, this unchecked experimentation, just trying stuff without a plan, leads straight to that tech sprawl, the clutter we mentioned, platform redundancy, systems that don't connect.
Just a big mess.
A costly mess. He gives this great example in the Rage Against Innovation article. A CTO whose company deployed 5 different AI analytics platforms in just 1 year.
5. Doing similar things.
Yep. No overarching strategy. The result, conflicting reports, confusion, soaring costs.
So what happened?
They finally implemented some governance, rationalized their approach, got organized, and guess what? They cut their related costs by 38%.
38%, that's huge.
Yeah.
It really shows how that initial excitement can just fizzle out into expensive inefficiency.
Totally. And it highlights why just trying things out to see what sticks can be a dangerous trap.
Which leads to Professor Ng's point about proof of value, right? Instead of just proof of concept.
Exactly. He explains this really well in Breaking the Cycle. Proof of value in the age of AI. Too many teams get fixated on just proving something can be built that's proof of concept, or POC.
Okay, look, we made it work.
Right. Or they rush out a minimum viable product, an MVP, just the bare bones, but they skip the crucial step, asking what actual measurable value does this bring, and what's the real cost of delivering that value? That's proof of value or PoV.
So POCs is, can it work? MVP is, here's the basic thing, but PoV is it actually worth it long term?
You got it. And he points to a nonprofit, HumAInority, Inc., as a positive example. They went from idea to a working AI platform launch in just 32 days.
Wow, that's fast. How they avoid the debt trap.
Their secret, focusing on value from day one. They set clear goals, defined responsibilities, and kept asking, how does this benefit our users? That focus helped them avoid scope creep, adding unnecessary bells and whistles and building up debt.
So they avoided ending up with what Professor Ng called that backlog of functional but underutilized tools.
Precisely. They built something valuable and sustainable, not just another piece of tech gathering dust, but still costing money to maintain.
It feels like there are just so many ways this debt can creep in. DigitalOcean listed quite a few common causes.
They did. Deadline pressure is a huge one, forces shortcuts.
Right. What else?
Lack of experience on the team can lead to inefficient or hard-to-maintain code. Then there's changing project scope, the requirements shift, and suddenly code you wrote before doesn't quite fit anymore.
Yeah, that happens.
And those temporary fixes we talked about. If they never get properly addressed, they become permanent problems. Plus, ignoring basic quality standards, using outdated tech that's hard to integrate, skipping testing.
So inadequate testing is a big one too, because bugs pop up later.
Absolutely. Bugs found later are much more expensive to fix, and they're a classic form of technical debt. It all adds up.
Okay, so if this debt just keeps accumulating, what are the real business impacts? Beyond just making the tech team's life harder.
Oh, the impacts are significant. Gartner peer community really lays it out. First, obviously, costs go up. Maintaining old, clunky systems is expensive.
Makes sense.
Then you lose flexibility. It becomes really hard and slow to make changes, to add new features, to respond to the market.
So you get stuck.
Pretty much. You can also run into data problems, different systems storing data differently, creating silos. Compliance risks, too, if your tech is too old to meet current regulations.
What about customers?
Big impact there. Slow, unreliable systems lead to unhappy customers. Think about frustrating website experiences. Gartner also mentions outright system failures causing service disruptions. You might miss business opportunities because you simply can't move fast enough.
And it even affects hiring.
Yeah, attracting top tech talent is harder if they know they'll be stuck working with ancient, messy systems. Nobody wants that. It really affects the whole business.
Okay, this sounds pretty dire if you let it get out of hand. So let's talk solutions. What can companies actually do to manage this, to get a handle on it?
Thankfully, there are strategies. DigitalOcean and Gartner both have good suggestions. Things like regular code reviews are crucial, catching issues early.
Like a quality check.
Exactly. Automated testing helps prevent introducing new debt as you develop. And then there's refactoring.
Refactoring, what's that?
It's basically going back and cleaning up existing code, improving its structure and readability without changing what it actually does. Makes it easier and safer to work with later.
Like tidying the workshop.
Good analogy. Documenting the debt is important too, making it visible so it doesn't get ignored. And critically, you need to align tackling debt with business goals. Fix the stuff that causes the most pain or risk first.
So prioritize.
Absolutely. Regularly upgrading technology helps avoid falling too far behind. Designing systems well from the start, using modular approaches, clean architecture, fostering a culture where the whole team feels ownership over code quality.
So it's not just one person's job.
Definitely not. And sometimes resisting the urge to over-engineer things helps too. Keep it appropriately simple.
And you can actually measure this stuff. It's not just a gut feeling.
Right. You can track metrics. Code complexity. How tangled is the code? Code duplication. Are you writing the same thing over and over? Defect density. How many bugs are you finding? Even time to market. If it's getting slower to release things, debt might be the culprit.
Ah, okay. Tangible things.
Yep. And Gartner adds things like application rationalization, reducing the number of different systems you have, and moving to the cloud as potential key results for reducing debt. It's also vital, as Geovation notes, that product owners prioritize this work.
Meaning they need to schedule time for fixing old stuff, not just building new features.
Exactly. Upgrades, documentation, code cleanup, it has to be part of the regular development cycle, valued just like new features.
Which brings us back to governance, which Professor Ng emphasized so much. How does that fit with these practical steps?
For Professor Ng, governance is the umbrella over all of this. It's the framework that ensures you're making smart decisions. He talks about models like the Cassis Exponentialis Technology Matrix, or CETM in technical debt. Rage against the innovation.
Okay, what does that do?
It's basically a structured way to evaluate technology investments, especially for new, potentially disruptive things like AI, to ensure they align with strategy and value. It brings discipline.
Got it. Discipline, not just chaos.
Precisely. His core message really resonates here. Start lean, move fast, govern everything. He firmly believes governed innovation delivers results, while that ungoverned experimentation just leads to fragmentation and debt.
And that other key point of his, feasibility is not enough. Value creation must be the standard.
That's the bottom line. Just because you can build it doesn't mean you should. Is it creating real sustainable value? That's the test.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the big takeaway isn't that innovation or speed are inherently bad. It's that innovation without a plan, without considering the long-term health of your systems.
Yeah.
That's what becomes the roadblock.
Exactly. Technical debt isn't just a technical headache. It's a business problem, an innovation killer if left unchecked. That rush for quick wins feels good initially, but ignoring the debt you're racking up will slow you down, cost more, and make you miss opportunities later.
So it really comes down to those questions Professor Ng poses. Are you truly scaling value with your innovations, or are you just accumulating debt? Do you have the governance needed to manage experimentation wisely? Are you optimizing for real outcomes?
Those are absolutely the critical questions. It forces a harder look at what we're building and why.
So a final thought for you listening. The next time you encounter some flashy new innovation, maybe pause for a second. Think about the potential hidden technical debt. What questions should you be asking about its long-term sustainability, its ability to create value beyond the initial hype? It's worth considering the true cost of progress.